Welcome back to Finish First Financially. Goran Radanovic here with another question from Reddit, and I'm going to read it and then give my take on it. And obviously, not financial investment advice, just what I would do in that situation. It says, Dad has very little retirement plan outside of $23,000 in savings and is freaking out. What's the best thing he can do with that money? My dad is 75 and only began saving 10 years ago. He's still working. He's making $70,000 per year and is only receiving some social security payments. He recently reached out to me about doing an annuity for him, in that he wants to pay me a lump sum of $25,000 and have me pay him back $1,000 a year. I guess he's planning to live to 100. I obviously think this is a terrible idea and the money is better in his HYSA, high yield savings account. There is definitely some pretty serious mental illness at play, hence the terrible planning on his part. So I'm not surprised to hear that he feels his situation is dire. What are the best options for someone looking to retire with savings of $23,000? What kind of actions can he or I take? All right, so it's a good thing that you're inquiring about this, because I'm going to tell you right off the bat that if your dad gets into a really tough financial spot, he's probably going to turn to you. And I know it's not your responsibility, but you want to make your life as easy as possible so it doesn't even get to that. And you obviously, if you can help your dad at the moment, then why not do so? So one of the first things that really concerns me is, well, first of all, he's making $70,000, which is a decent income. That's really not a bad income. What's troubling me is that he's only got $23,000 in savings. Now, he's got a decent income, and on top of that, he's receiving Social Security. So at the very least, at this stage of his life, he should be saving at least $2,000 every single month with the little expenses that he should have. And I don't think he's got a few expenses because of the lack of savings. So the first step would be to you need to take drastic action. And one of the things that the reason that I mentioned that he would turn to you is because that's what would happen. And what I would do if I was in your situation is that you can't take this slowly and step by step. It needs to be a drastic action. You jump into the deep side of the pool because he doesn't have the luxury of time. So in this situation, with his saving of $2,000 every single month that he should have, if that equates to $25,000 rounded off every single year, if he can work for the next 4 years, he will save at least $100,000. That's on top of the 23 that he's got, and that excludes interest. So that's the point where you really need to help him to get through, to guide him every step of the way, even if it means setting up a budget, drawing up a budget for him. And it needs to, as I mentioned, it needs to be drastic steps that you need to take. It's sort of like a knife that just cuts right down the middle. There's no subscriptions, no vacations, none of that, no going out to restaurants. You need to guide him to save at the very least $2,000. So reduce all the non-essential expenses and eliminate the non-essential expenses and reduce the essential ones as much as possible, so that he's saving $25,000 every single year. That's the first thing. And obviously he's still getting Social Security. So speaking of that, once he's got that $125,000 in the next 4 years, what the ultimate goal that you want to drive him towards is to get his expenses as little as possible, so that he's actually able to finance all of the expenses with his Social Security income. And that actually is possible. And that's where you really need to move him towards. And even if there's a slight shortfall where the Social Security income is not able to cover everything, the shortfall will come from the savings that he's got, but he should only be taking out the interest part of the savings and not the principal amount. And that's really where you need to go with him, so that he gets to that point where he's not even withdrawing the principal savings amount, but he's using the social security to cover his expenses and maybe just the interest of the savings. You want him to be in a position where he's got a lot more savings, and he absolutely can get to that point if he's saving at the very least $2,000. And at his age, he shouldn't have that many expenses. So he should be able to save at the very least $25,000 every single year. And hopefully he can work for the next 4 years, save up that over and above $100,000 to be in a much better situation. But he absolutely has to reduce his expenses as much as possible. And if you'd like to learn more about how to reduce your expenses and how to save money and how to get out of debt, you can get my book, From Homeless to Debtless with Savings. It's available on Amazon at the moment. I'll put a link in the description box below the video. I wish you all the best. Until next time.